Foreign, yes. What does that mean?
Meaning something we don't have at present.
It's not for us.
I believe what they mean is just a disease we don't have at present, like foot and mouth disease. And that's what a lot of this program is built around, is the premise that we might actually get foot and mouth disease at some point, which is so frightening that it would throw everybody to throw their hands up and say,
it's just a disease.
It's just a disease that we don't have currently that we could get at some time.
Those words make no sense to me.
See, foot and mouth is so frightening to people that they're willing to throw their hands up and say, we've got to do this. We've got to do whatever it is we can do, because that disease is so devastating and so frightening that we've got to do whatever we can, when in reality the discussion here has shown many problems with Mexico and problems coming in from Mexico. And in other words, if the people that are already employed to do this job of keeping these diseases out would do that, then us here working in the U.S. with our clean herds of animals wouldn't have to worry about that. But I'd like to say one thing about international trade, and the problem with that is then you're getting into politics and not animal health. The South Koreans kept our beef out way past the point when we had any BSE or had any chance of getting any. And it was completely political. They had their own BSE at a much higher rate than we did. We didn't really have any, really. It was really from other countries. And so when the reason has been proposed by some here today that we need this program because of exporting, being able to export. And then those people, for whatever their political reasons are, can stop our products that are not disease-related. So it just doesn't wash with me, the export problem. But what we do need to stop is not allowing these foreign animal diseases to come in here in the first place.
A couple of the advocates of this NAIS policy identification seem to be conflating two ideas. The idea of foreign disease and the idea of disease itself. So that's just why I wanted a clarification there.
3 diseases that we are currently not, well, one of them we're not. Years ago, there was a screwworm. Screwworm eats live flesh. USDA, Texas Animal Health, attacked that with sterile flies and eradicated it in the United States. It went south. Texas fever tick. My great-grandfather was a deputy vet inspector, and they eradicated it, and it went south. You know where south is. Texas and all the United States was tuberculosis free. Nearly, I think you dairy farmers will verify this, nearly every incidence of tuberculosis in cattle came north from down south. Yet, I have a grandson in Fort Worth school. And in my opinion, you're going to differ with this, but all this swine flu is nothing but media hype. That's all it is. Anyway, Fort Worth schools are 42% illegal alien, Hispanic. They closed them down for 7 days. He said, Granddaddy, where do you think all those people went? Where do you think they went? They had 7 days off. They went south. There's nothing to swine. I mean, I was a school administrator. I was a high school principal for 17 years. Now then, there's a fact called cyoa. You ever heard it? Cover your own behind. I'll use a little bit better term. Okay, do I want to be the only principal in Texas to stand up and say, we're not going to turn out. We got a kid that blew his nose yesterday, and I'm afraid he's got swine flu. What if it was? They'll turn me loose in a second. Invalidate my contract because I wasn't looking out for the welfare of the kids. There's still schools. New York City this morning, I noticed on the news, was just turning them out in masses. Why? Media hype. Nobody in government, nobody has the wherewithal or the guts to close the border. That's just all it is to it. Why? Just like you said, politics. Folks, politics is going to carry us, going to destroy our very existence if we as grassroots people, Judah, and I congratulate you, do not say, draw the line in the sand. They did it in Texas one time and say, we're not going. We're not going. This is it. If you want to go, get over there. But when you do, go all the way south. Go down there with the screwworms and the fever ticks and the tuberculosis and the 50 cents an hour wage, and stay down there. Don't come back over here where we are. This is the best country we ever lived in, and you know why it is? Because of people just like you. But we've had enough, folks. We can't go there. We just can't.
I'd like to just say one thing, addressing a point this gentleman made. In my 34 years of practicing large animal medicine, I positively diagnosed tuberculosis in one cow. It was when I was in Pleasanton, right out of vet school. She was a dairy cow that had been brought in from Chihuahua, Mexico. And she had huge abscesses in her. We had the necropsy of that cow, and the tuberculin organism was all in her. But so there, there is something to that. They're talking about. I was just talking to a guy today at lunch. They're talking about moving the fever tick quarantine line further up. Have you heard that lately? Yes, sir. I don't know if that's justified or not. I haven't had any experience down there with that, but
they talked about moving that line up, and it got to it was going to include the King Ranch and the East Ranch, and they didn't move it. The line stayed where it's at.
Yeah.